Daniel Cormier said,
on ESPN.
This on ESPN. Thank you, Vic. Nate Diaz not fighting Khamzat was a gift from God. Like, that is literally the best case scenario for him. I will sit here and say this without a shadow of a doubt. He was going to lose to Khamzat Chimaev, and he was going to lose badly. As much as Nate dismisses the guy, he just doesn't have the skill set to stop the guy from doing what he does. So I want your reaction to that, and then I'll give you Nate's reaction as well. So I agree completely, wholeheartedly. I think what we saw with Khamzat, what he did to what's his name, who was a 185 pounder, Kevin Holland. 185 pounder who honestly very athletic, definitely I would say more I don't think Nate Diaz was stopping the takedown more effectively than Kevin Holland was, right?
Yeah, probably not.
Better from his back, very, very much better from his back, higher level jiu-jitsu guy, but Kevin Holland is an extremely high level.
Kevin Holland's high level. It's Nate, Nate Diaz is, he's never been submitted in the UFC. He's fought in the UFC and fought all the top guys for a very long time. Now, obviously, Khamzat is like the next generation of very top guys. But there's a strong argument to be made that it would be much harder for Khamzat to quickly submit Nate Diaz than it was to quickly submit Kevin Holland.
Sure. He probably wasn't going to quickly submit him. He's probably going to knock him out and get on top of him.
I don't know. Listen, I understand where Daniel Cormier is coming from. It's a tough thing, I think, to be one of those guys, to be an MMA analyst or commentator when you were just a fighter and you have relationships with all these guys and you know them, and you got to go up there and say, this guy would have fucked this guy up. And I can understand where, from Nate Diaz's perspective, I'm sure it's a bit I don't know, dude. I came there to fight the guy. I took the fucking fight. I made the weight. He missed weight. Then I took the fight on 1 day notice, a different fight. And now you're like, oh, you're lucky because that guy would have fucked you up. I can understand where that would rub him the wrong way. I get why DC would say that. On paper, Khamzat was a big favorite. I don't think that it's 100%. I think nothing's 100%.
Nate responds,
especially at this level.
Nate responded, "Respect your OG, you fat motherfucker," on Twitter.
And he makes a good point too.
Cormier just wrote, "Nathan, relax." Nate's fucking real ass dude. You gotta love it, right? But look, Cormier, and you're right. These guys are in a position where, they talk on mic. They have their own podcast. They have ESPN deals. And they're also Cormier is particularly good. Cormier is great. I like listening to Cormier a lot. Obviously, Bisping's great. Chael Sonnen's incredible. You listen to certain guys they speak about the sport in such an insightful way because they've walked the walk on the championship level. It's not even hearing a young guy talk about the fight that trains or whatever, or even a UFC fighter that trains at the highest level. We're talking about championship level, been down the fucking 5 rounds with the toughest people in the fucking world, fought the pound for pound best guys in the world as well, in their prime. All those guys, Cormier, Bisping, Chael Sonnen, those guys have that experience. It's a very, very different level of experience. They understand, and then they also understand the other side of it, which is just coming up and coming up at a different time in the UFC where the money wasn't as good, the deals weren't as good.
Yeah.
It's a different thing. So Cormier is great and people want to hear his opinion, and he's got to give it sometimes, and you're going to hurt people's feelings and you're going to piss people the fuck off, and that's just sort of it's par for the course. So unfortunately, he pissed off Nate Diaz, and it sucks because I like Cormier and I like Nate Diaz, but I do love watching it all happen and unfold and the drama.
Of course. Yeah, because
it's the best.
It makes us all little girls just to watch it.